2 wins, and Kentucky will become the first undefeated college basketball champion since Indiana's 1976 team. The Cats playing in their first game in the Final Four Saturday night. We're counting you down to tip-off. Our True Blue team, Keith Farmer and Nancy Cox, join us live from True Blue Indy.
Well, this is the big stage. I have stopped counting satellite trucks. There are no hotel rooms anywhere close to Indianapolis to be found. The Wisconsin team just got a police escort from Lucas Oil Stadium back to their hotel. This is a big deal if you haven't heard. But Keith, for the most part, the players are insulated from this, aren't they?
They are, and they were insulated today for the most part from the media because they spent time indoors behind closed practices. We had a chance to see Coach and Willie Cauley-Stein. That was about it. You know, last year when Kentucky played in this, it was a regional, they kind of had it cut in half. You only used about half of Lucas Oil Stadium, half the seating. This year, different. Final Four, they'll put it right at basically what is midfield, and they'll use all of the seating in there for them to pack True Blue fans in there. I'm sure that's what it's for.
Oh, yeah.
Last year also, Willie Cauley-Stein hurt his ankle in the game in the regional. Of course, that was against the Cardinals. He missed the region final and the Final Four, so this is his first chance to play in the biggest games that matter for a national championship. It's the entire reason he returned to help UK win number 9. Coach Calipari talked about his development today.
I had the veterans come to my office before we left, tell them how proud I am of them. And I looked at Willie, and I said, can you imagine, Willie? I said, tell these guys where I saw you play in an AAU game. And he said, I don't want to remember. I said, how many points did you get in that AAU game? He got 2. And the guy who was guarding was like 6'4", or who was guarding him. He has come so far as a player, but more importantly as a person.
All right, but how many touchdowns did he have that year? You know?
Probably a lot. A wonderful wide receiver.
And that's actually when I think Coach Cal first saw him. Coming up later on in sports, we're going to hear from the 2 players that we actually saw from these 2 teams, Willie Cauley-Stein and Frank Kaminsky.
All right. Well, Indianapolis has rolled out a True Blue red carpet for True Blue fans, I guess you'd say. There's so much to do here. Some people may want to consider just driving up to just be a part of things, even if you don't have a ticket. Brianna Gilroy has more about that.
The Children's Museum here in Indianapolis is the largest children's museum in the world. I took a tour today to find out why, and I can tell you Kentucky fans coming into town for the game should definitely stop by and check it out. It's called the Children's Museum, but I think anyone could have fun here. Expecting big crowds for spring break and, of course, the tournament, 2 brand new exhibits just opened, including one featuring the Transformers. But the museum is most known for its intricate dinosaur collection, featuring my favorite, Leo, a mummified dinosaur. We found fan Ken Hansel. He was decked out in True Blue gear and showing off his UK tattoo. He came here with his 8-year-old grandson, and he says this is perfect for them while they wait for the Cats to play.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, just be able, because they're so close to in the Final Four, it's unbelievable.
And for fans coming into town over the next couple of days, the museum here is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. For now, back to you.
That's just one of many things to do. Rihanna's going to be giving a concert. I think we can probably hear her from our hotel rooms.
Yeah, I'll just open up the window and take a listen.
I think it'd be pretty nice.
Get the binoculars out.
Yeah, you have all boys, right?
I do.
I bet they are pretty mad that you're here without them.
Yes. They would probably rather be here. They are on spring break at least,
That's
but
right.
They would rather be here cheering on Kentucky.
Well, I know where they would be. Haley Harmon's going to tell you about Bracket Town.
Well, here inside FanFest in downtown Indy, this is going to be the place to be for fans this weekend. Today, they're getting all those final preparations out of the way before it all opens up for Final Four weekend. This entire area of the convention center, just a few blocks from Lucas Oil Stadium, is going to be all about the fans. It's going to open Friday at noon. It has tons of stuff for kids and adults to do while they're here in Indy supporting their favorite team. Autograph sessions from NCAA players and coaches, competition centers for all sorts of fun basketball games, of course, live music, and lots of food and drinks. Organizers say all of this hard work is worth it. These fun fan events turn the Final Four games into an entire weekend of celebrations.
So much for fans to do outside of the games, in addition to the open practices. So whether you have a game ticket or not, you really have a Final Four experience here in Central Indiana, and we're really excited to be a part of that.
Now, one important note for fans, if you do wish to come to FanFest, they are implementing the clear bag policy just like they have in effect for the Final Four games as well. Any items you hope to bring into the game with you, they have to be in a plastic bag like this. It's to keep everybody safe and in and out of locations as quickly as possible. They're giving these out for free all across downtown Indy, so you can bring your own with you or you can pick one up when you get here. We are covering the Cats from True Blue Indy. Now back to you.
Bill Mack, Kevin, Christopher. I'm making a souvenir list. People I have to get T-shirts for.
You have to for them?
I have to.
Okay.
My kids.
While you're making that list, why don't I send it back to Kevin Christopher?
Nancy, Keith, thanks so much. And remember, you can get more live coverage from True Blue Indy throughout the evening right here on LEX 18. Keep an eye on LEX18.com and share your pictures with us on Facebook or Twitter. Hashtag True Blue Indy. President Obama's visit to Louisville was delayed this afternoon by breaking developments in negotiations over Iran's nuclear power. The president was expected to land at the Louisville International Airport around 2 o'clock, but he was still in Washington, D.C. He says a deal has finally been reached among the U.S. and 5 other countries to stop Iran from building a nuclear bomb, calling it a historic deal. Right after he addressed the nation, he flew to Louisville for his scheduled visit at a technology-based company downtown. Next, Mr. Obama is scheduled to fly to Hill Air Force Base in Utah for an appearance there Friday. A convicted child rapist on the run from Virginia for more than a year was arrested by U.S. Marshals in Lexington last night. And as LEX 18's Kristen Flum reports, being a fugitive isn't the only reason he's in trouble.
Elizabeth White says the arrest of a wanted Virginia man in her Pasadena Drive neighborhood just goes to show you trouble can lurk in the most unlikely of places.
It's quiet. Everybody, watches kind of out if they see me odd coming around each other's houses, but it's very family oriented.
For about the last 8 months, U.S. Marshals say Douglas Scott McBride has been living inside this home on the lam from a child rape conviction out of Dinwiddie County, Virginia for more than a year.
I had no clue that anything went on up the street from our house, just 7 houses up.
McBride was in court today where he waived an extradition hearing saying he'd cooperate in going back to Virginia. But there's one holdup. When police pulled him out of the Pasadena Drive home last night, they also found 18 marijuana plants and a large amount of Ritalin, meaning McBride will have to deal with his new troubles before he can address the ones he left behind in Virginia. Covering the news in Lexington, Kristen Flum, LEX 18 News.
McBride will have to appear in court again next week to answer to the Lexington drug charges. This week's Crime Stoppers Most Wanted Person of the Week is 19-year-old Franklin Thomas. Thomas is 6 feet tall, weighs about 170 pounds. He's wanted for wanton endangerment. If you have information that leads to an arrest, you could pocket a $1,000 reward. Just call 859-253-2020. Distracted drivers beware. Lexington police are on the lookout for you. A list of things to avoid and some safe driving tips. Next on LEX 18 News at 6.